Hey everybody, we are actually
Well, I've been sitting here on this dock by the bay, watching my blue skies turn to gray. Didn't know if I should run or stay, so I pulled up Mike's weather page, 'cause Mike's weather page, you know he's got the news to keep you safe. Mike's weather page is only a click or two away. Well, I admit that I had one or a few, 'cause I was down and I was feeling blue. But then I clicked on Mike's fan page. I saw all my friends, now I'm okay. 'Cause Mike's weather page, you know he's got the news to keep you safe. Mike's weather page is only a click or two away. We all know Mike's a real fun guy. He'll track the storms as they blow by. But when the drunk donkey comes out to play, Miss Julie, take his phone away. 'Cause Mike's weather page, you know he's got the news to keep you safe. Mike's weather page is only a click or two away.
Not sure what the gusts are, but
well, there's Louie and Hunter too. No telling what they're gonna do.
I think we're
you know he's got more than 1 million fans. Yeah, 'cause now Mike's weather page, you know he's got the
trying to keep the camera from getting wet.
Mike's weather page is only a click or two away. Mike's weather page, you know he's got the news to keep you safe. Mike's weather page is only a click or two away.
Yeah. How do you like that song? That's one of my favorite. Hey, good morning, everybody. Hey, somebody from St. Martin down there. Awesome. What's everybody up to? It's Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. Does anybody eat tacos anymore? So, yeah, it's tropical season time. I've just read about 10 or 15 people that have said they haven't been here. So welcome back. I know most of our followers only come around during tropical season. The rest just come for the dogs, and then like 1% listen to weather. So we got a little bit to talk about. Definitely, we'll get into that. We always say hello for a few minutes. Do a little chit-chatting. I'd like to say hi to a few folks, especially some new faces. Like Megan Elaine. This is our romper room session. What's up, Miss Ruth from coastal North Carolina? Got a lot of folks from the Virgin Islands. Scott tuning in. Brian's ready for the Softball World Series. What's up, Lisa? David sent us some stars. Melinda follows all year. That's cool. What's up, Mr. Ryan? Never got that rain. Notifications, I don't know. What's up, Mr. Chad? Mr. Coffee Man? Down in Honduras. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know what's up with notifications. You kind of just got to set your alarm. I don't know. 9:19. You can count on it. 9:19 a.m. Eastern. So, all right, well, we're going to chit-chat weather. It's our Daily Brew. We're streaming live on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook and YouTube. I just did my TikTok. I think I finally figured it out, by the way. I had almost 350,000 views yesterday on the video. So I knew I'd figure it out. So if you like little quickies, we're all over the place. But our Daily Brews are our staple. We love doing it. I love mingling with everybody. Thanking all of our supporters. Our biggest supporter here for Facebook from day one, 5 years ago, was ABC, and we love them to death. Got some fun stuff playing with them this year with your storm supplies. It's your official storm supplies store of Florida. What do you think about that, Hunter? He's the only Frenchie in the planet that purrs. So let's get cranking on here. Let's get back to the website. We got a few things to talk about. Weather today, real quick in a nutshell. I like to start out the show real quick and then we'll say some more hellos. But we have storms again. Look at this. It's like deja vu, man. Like, I was thinking about it. We went up there for Panama City for the Gulf Coast Jam June 1st. I think it's rained and stormed in the upper Gulf every day since I left. So there you go. This is storm map today. Florida's expected to just have some scattered storms. We've got a really weird low pressure system coming across Tennessee right now that's kind of spiraling some storms in. So that's very kind of weird, actually. But that's what we got cooking today. Kind of got that spiral little look here. You can see it. Storms are going to be doing a little wind shift change today. We'll look at that here in a little bit. But anyway, I always like to open the day with your storm map for today. That's Tuesday. Tuesday. Oh, and I had this side up real quick. So we're going back up to Panama City Beach in 3 weeks for Softball World Series. We're staying at our number one little spot. So if you ever go to Panama City Beach, these are big fans of ours. You can rent it on VRBO. I just did. Cool for your pets. Big parking right there, and it's on the west side of Panama City Beach. So a little secret place called Bubbles Beach Bungalow B3. 3 B's, B3, get it? But we had such a great time. We all decided we're just going to go back again. So we're going to be there in 3 weeks for Emily's Softball World Series. So Panama, I'm coming back for you. Look out. Lock the bars. We haven't used Zoom Earth in a while. Let's start things out with Zoom Earth. All right. So far, nothing's really changed. If you're in the islands, the good news is, as far as our storm goes, let's pull it up here a little closer. Let's just put this a little cleaner. We'll just chit-chat on this for a second. The good news is that there is wind shear that we've kind of expected. So there it is. This little guy right here is Brett. This is 93, and then who the heck knows what this thing is coming off. This is, but Brett is still a tropical storm. Might make hurricane status here before Thursday. Battling a little bit of wind shear, but there's a lot of moisture. It's always a battle of who wins, right? So, the good news is, at least as far as winds go, it still doesn't look like it's going to intensify into anything to worry about past a 1. Still heavy rain. One thing, no matter what, with all that warm water and lowering pressures, you're going to get a lot of rain regardless, and of course gusty winds. So we're going to go right in deep into. Why did I spin it? I did my spin the wrong way. Counterclockwise. Low pressure counterclockwise. I'm looking up here. You can see the low pressure setting up here and all this stuff. I don't know why I drew it wrong. I was like, that ain't right. I'm off 180. So there's our low, and the reason we're having storms coming up through the upper Gulf and the Gulf again today. So, but anyway, all right. So let's take a really close look. Here's the latest tracks. Let's take a look at spaghetti models here on Tropical Tidbits. They just came out, the 12Z Suites. There you go. Weaker west. GFS was wrong again for the. I've lost track how many times the GFS has been wrong this year and last year. Remember the GFS a couple of weeks ago was having a Gulf hurricane? That didn't happen. The GFS had this thing turning and missing the islands completely. That ain't happening. So, not good. HWARF's the only model going north. That's more of an intensity model than a tracking model. But there you go. High consistency, right? High pressure to the north. lot of trade winds blowing in wind shear, but basically we got a high up here, and everything is pushing this along the next several days. So, the good news, at least for Hispaniola and Puerto Rico, is no direct hit, it looks like. This thing is going weak, go west. So the islands are 100% watching first. Barbados, Lesser Antilles. North of this should get the brunt of it. So you definitely, Virgin Islands are watching as this thing comes close. Where does it go past that? Well, here's the deal. There's supposed to be some wind shear, and none of the models are showing too much to worry about. I know everybody, 99% of people that watch this probably live up here in the continental U.S. Early season systems, lots of wind shear, and we're going to see some wind shear actually coming down over the weekend. So it's got a rough road ahead of it. The only thing that would catch my eye on anything to worry about, really, I guess if anything, would be just the warmer waters enabling constant convection, and then some sort of a regeneration over here. So one time the CMC model did show that it actually came through here and kind of went up, but like I mentioned before, CMC is not a really good model. So this is a blend of ensembles and stuff. There's just really not a lot, man. So that's the good news. Weather Nerds has ensembles too. I have them linked right here. Brett, ensembles. You can see the Euro pretty much fizzles it out south of Jamaica. So that's the trend. That's what we talk about every day. I'm like, what do we talk about every day? We talk about trends, and we talk about, here's the GFS ensembles if you want to look at them. I mean, I guess the only scenario you would wonder about is, like I said, some sort of a regeneration, and then this thing slowly gets pulled north. So, but still a lot of days away. So our initial our worry are going to be here, and then we'll look at the system behind it. The system behind it also looks like it might be turning and missing a lot. So what's up, Miss Beth in the Virgin Islands? Alberto wants to know, why is it happening in June? Well, the waters are hot, and Africa is spitting out some big-time moisture. So could be a heavily weighted season early and peak versus late, maybe. If El Nino does kick in and we get a lot of wind shear, possibly, maybe towards the end of season, things slow down. But with Africa, man, they're really juicy over there, man. Hurricane Felix, I sure did. We saw that big wave. What's up, Mr. Brent Horn? How you doing? Good to see you. Maria Kaiser, good morning. Mariah, it's Maria. I know we have Emily softball. One of her coaches is Mariah, and I tear names apart more than anybody in the world, and I keep calling her Maria. Just like I called Shelly Sheila 6 years ago. Everybody would correct me. Mike, it's Shelly, not Sheila. So nothing to worry about other than living in the Caribbean right now. Okay, very, 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 very unlikely this thing is anything to worry about in at least the next week. It would take. We're talking about Friday, Saturday here. Today's only Tuesday, so still a long way away. But a lot of wind shear this time of year. We'll keep an eye on it. My only question is, the water temperatures have never been this warm. So there's always that unknown factor in the tropics. You never say never in the tropics, ever. So you always keep your eye on it. It is a seed. Let's take a look at the winds. You can kind of see it. It's not completely 100% structurally sound, but there is spinach. This is your 850 level. It's kind of an open, still. It's dealing with a lot of winds to the north right now. You can see that these are those strong trade winds that are blowing in from the east. So regardless of strength, wherever this thing goes, you're going to expect a lot of winds coming in on the top side, and obviously rains, but the winds definitely, because of these strong trade winds here, are going to magnify the winds more to the north side. And then behind it, you can see Invest 93 got a decent little structure, got a little less shear, a little less winds above. So there you go. There's the two systems. We'll keep on talking about Brett for a little bit. So here's the latest Spaghetti models just came out. Let's close some windows. There's your latest models. High confidence. This thing's going westward. Back to Zoom Earth. Great site. You can plot along expected forecast tracks when you can expect it. This is Wednesday, 2 a.m., 2 p.m., hurricane. And here's our Invest 93. And what's kind of ironic about them is that they both looks like they originated in the exact same location when they first started tracking them. So there's this little tidbit for the day. Kind of weird. But it's a great site, zoom.earth. You can follow along. Change in pressure, change in winds, all kinds of stuff. Real live tracking with the storms right now. So I want to point that one out. Here is, let's take a look at your latest cone here. So this is your NHC cone. Now we have a new one coming out at 11. You can see they expect it to be a hurricane. Always deceiving when you see this 2 a.m. Friday. Don't forget, that's center. When you might be able to start seeing the effects are going to be well earlier. And here's a good graphic that I have linked from the National Hurricane Center. The earliest reasonable time of tropical storm force winds puts you right at Thursday, 8 a.m. So even though the storm's still your east, tropical storm force winds might start impacting you as early as Thursday morning. So there's that. Key messages are always on the page. These come out at 5 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Hurricane intensity, flooding, heavy surge, winds, waves. Everybody, Les Chiles, Puerto Rico, Virgin needs to just monitor closely. And that's that. There you go. Let's look at the individual model runs here, and then we'll look at Invest 93, which doesn't seem to be a concern even for the islands right now. So that's good. Right. I know Shelly likes Zoom Earth. Colin's watching from Barbados. That's cool to know. I didn't even know. We had a girl named, I think I see her sometimes. Let me pull up Barbados here. We looked this up a couple years ago. But look at this. If you ever wondering, Barbados. Kind of fascinating. It's the first island, and definitely should be watching. This thing keeps taking a little tick to the south. There's Barbados. So there's all of our friends. And I think over the years, Shelley, we've had somebody chime in from every one of these little islands, which is pretty awesome. But there's Barbados. All right, let's go back to GFS. All right, so I'm going to say hi to a few people. So we'll talk about local storms here in a minute. That big bad storm thing that I showed never happened in Tampa last night or this morning. It did happen in Gainesville. You know what I'm talking about. It was stormy in the northern part of Florida last night, but it kind of fizzled the time it got down to Tampa Bay. Lena says Barbados needs rain. Well, hey, this is good for you, right? Believe it or not, you all love these tropical disturbances as long as they're weak. Like, it brings the rain, man. It's all about the water. Wayne from Mobile, Alabama. I bet you're tired of this rainy, stormy pattern, huh? Joel Harrison, what's up? Look at that, Karen from St. Croix. Been watching this one, right? Lisa, good morning. Feels like a hurricane, Jamie. It does. Weather pattern has been wacky. Yeah, look at that. Jacob just says Newberry. I was just in Newberry a couple days ago. And we're going up there this weekend. We got a softball tournament. I'm staying there in Gainesville. But, man, the weather's just been unbelievable. Like, I've never seen it so stormy. This persistent locked-in pattern that we got. It's nuts. Low pressure now. All right, so let's look at the individual models. This is the time of year that Levi posts. I try to share his stuff. If you go to Tropical Tidbits and go to Levi's homepage, he does a video pretty much daily. So you can get the science and get really good analysis of the storms. If you ever wonder where his analysis are at. But we go there a lot to look at storms. Here's a current look of satellite. So you can see a little bit of dry air. This is Brett. Even though it's got a good structure, you can almost see this lower level banding. As a matter of fact, new link this year. I don't know if they, right here, I don't think this was live last year, but look at that. Storm satellite pages. These are the old floaters. I don't know why I laugh when I hear floaters. But I love red, green, blue satellite imagery. I love it to death. This is my favorite satellite in the world. I wonder if we get a higher resolution. That's animated gift. Let's see here. We might get it here. That's good enough. Whoa, blue. Where'd that come from? We don't want to do that one again. I don't like that blue. Let's go back to short. Let's take a look at short. There we go. Now I can't get around the blue. But what's cool about this, let's go to animated GIF. This is the reason I love red, green, blue. Oh, we can't get away from that blue. Anyway, there. Stop it! Who's doing that? Let's do single image. All right, single image. Well, I could do a rocker on the other one. I think I can control it. So we're gonna rock it. We just won't hit the last frame. So what we're looking at, some shenanigans. Oh my God! Reset. Cheers. I love pina coladas, by the way. Somebody just wrote pina coladas over there. So red, green, blue is great because the lower level clouds show up very well in satellite imagery such as this, and they show up basically yellow-ish. And it's a fantastic satellite to show you that there's lower level circulation, which you can see on the Knoll School, that windy page that I showed. So you got lower level winds, but you don't really have convection around those center winds that you normally would see on a developing system. And it's different reasons. Sometimes systems run so fast that the lower level can't keep up with the upper level because you got such strong trade winds pushing it along. So in order for a storm to grow, it needs to stack, and these storms need to stack over center. So what's really cool about this is you can see the center right there. That is the center. And, very clear spin underneath that center. But the storm clouds are really displaced right now. So just a sign that there's, not the most favorable environmental conditions right now. See that? And we'll go right by the blue. So, but it might, but that's why it's not rapidly intensifying, even though there looks like there's a lot of moisture out there. There are some upper level winds, and there's some cool old school surge map or shear maps here we can look at. This was one of the first links I think I put on my site in 2004. These are from the guys up in Wisconsin, but our system is here, and out ahead of it we have some wind shear. So it's going to have a rough road ahead of it as it approaches the islands. Another good shear map kind of showing you the same thing here. Strong winds above, setting up here. These are typically your El Nino style setup. So, you know, you got a lot of winds blowing in from the south on the lower level. You got a lot of winds from the north or from the west. A lot of winds from the east, those trade winds. And you got this jet stream blowing hard ahead of it. So, you know, it gets chopped up. Kind of like hamburger. So, bottom line, you know, conditions aren't entirely favorable for this thing to develop right now. So there you go. Long range. So let's go back to tropical tidbits. We never finished this out. So let's show you what all the individual models are showing for our system, and we'll go ahead and start looking at the system behind it. So while we look at these models, we're going to look at Invest 93, which is behind it, and the majority of models here, almost all of them, are showing Invest 93 curving northward. Good consistency there, right? So maybe 93 won't be any sort of problem for anybody out there, unless you're on the water. So that's 93. And the reason being is there's a high pressure system currently over, and it's weak. But basically there's a high pressure too that's helping this. And this high pressure is going to move on out. And we're going to get a weakness here, and it's going to allow our system to bend around with a weakness up here. And that's typical. So that's Invest 93. We're going to see that when we look at all the tropical tidbits models. And then we're going to start looking for the third wave coming off of Africa, because it's juicy over there. All right, so here's GFS, which we really don't show, but I don't know why. But you can just see it's caved into everybody else. Here's Thursday night. A little slower, but there you go. Thursday night, weak, you know, little system. There's our Invest 93, and kind of fizzles out in the Caribbean. There's 93 starting that northwest turn, and here's another little wave back here popping into the picture. That's very believable. So this time next week, we can have wave number 3 popping in off of Africa. So there you go. That's consistency. Consistency that Brett might fizzle out here in the Caribbean. Some of that juice still could get pulled up, you know. Timing here is the next Wednesday, and this is very believable that leftovers could be hanging around in the Western Caribbean. And that's where you always watch. No models showing it, so definitely not hyping, just letting you know that it ain't over till it's over. Just ask people who experienced Harvey, because Harvey broke down into an open wave and came back. Not to say this one's going to be that. Just saying, you never say never. All right, the latest Euro overnight showing you your system crossing the Caribbean. Our Invest 93 curving up. Brett slowly dissolving, 93 going northwest, and a little sign of some tropical juice maybe coming across Africa. No solid yet on that on the Euro. It did show a little bit yesterday in the 12Z, this little area right here. A little bit, you can see a little bump right there. So, and it's pretty cool. Let's look at the upper level winds on the Euro. One of my mentors, Dennis Phillips, made a statement years and years and years ago that I'll always remember. It's stuck in my head. That the European model does amazing with upper level winds. So I always turn to the Euro to kind of get an idea what's going on above. And basically, you can just see this high pressure sitting over top of the Atlantic. A little weakness right here that's going to pull up 93. And there you go. You know, that's that. Not clear like I was hoping it would be, but anyway. High pressure basically funneling. That doesn't even make sense. But anyway, high pressure pushing along Brett here in the next few days. All right, so there's that. The Icon, an awesome model, which I love to death. It's for early tropical formation. All right, here's where we're at now. There's a high pressure. There is Brett going towards the islands. Heavy rain, wind, yes. This is Thursday morning. Here is 93. Here is a new wave off of Africa. And you can see it. So the Icon is really good about early detection. And really, ooh, what do we have here? Let's get back to that. Let's see what the Canadian. Then I'm going to show you what I just saw. Let me show you. All right, then the Canadian model, not the best, but it's consistent. Here's our little Brett. Here's our 93. And here's our next wave off Africa. There goes 93, leftover somewhere here, and our new little guy. So, very curious about wave number 3, if it's coming or not, but it looks like it could be. All you got to do right now, do. Sarah loves Mountain Dew. Yesterday at the softball field, Dad, I need Mountain Dew. Everybody's laughing at her. She's just drinking it like a champ. But it's Diet Dew, so it's okay. I look at it. Jordan, man. Woo. Crazy. Lena, correct. We got low pressures dipping down there in the Yucatan all the way up. So definitely a moist pattern here developing. That's going to be shoveling some moisture that way. And if Brett gets that way by this time next week, it's going to continue that flow of moisture up. So, Karen, yeah, it's tough to tell if it's going to hit you guys or not. Nina loves the app. Thanks. It's not the best in the world, but hey. Hey, Bobo asked why there's no dust. There is some, just not as much. Yep, Shelly looks at the Indian Ocean. I don't go that far. Shelly's a planner. Shelly likes to look ahead. She's already planning our cruise. I'm like, can't we wait till Christmas? Hey, thanks for the stars there, Miss Jennifer Thompson. Hey, Antonio, first time here. Awesome. Oh, God, we got to come up with something. We got to come up with a noise or something when there's somebody new. I don't know what I can do. We got to come up with something cool. We got to come up with like a noise. But anyway, welcome. This is our laid back session of Daily Brew. The afternoon quickies, 5 o'clock somewheres are more to the point. But eventually you'll get through the shenanigans. It wouldn't be a season if I didn't get 1 or 2 posts a day saying stick to the weather. And I'm like, oh, geez, thanks. My God, thank you, sir or ma'am. Okay. Derek wants to know the storms off Africa. Well, everyone's a little different. Sometimes we've seen the NHC marked storms off of Africa in the past that have already been designated. So yeah, this is a little early in the season for this to be happening, but it could be a sign of what's to come. Sometimes we get these African, they call them rain train or the train. Not rain train. I don't know what did they call them things. I don't know the train. They just call them a train because it's one after another like a train. But some years. And, of course, this helps reduce some of that Saharan dust when you have a lot of moisture in Africa. So, and you can look at some long-range maps and see this set up in the global tropics hazard map. Here you can see, all the way to July 4th, we're just going to see this green means above average rainfall. Now, I showed some maps a couple days ago. I'm not going to show them again now because then it would be like a repeat. It already is like a repeat show, but long range precipitation models are showing increased activity through pretty much June, July, August, with rains pumping up through that main development region. So the long-range models are predicting this constant flow of moisture, which, could eventually do more impactful storms. Because remember, when you're talking about what we've seen over the past years, typically this region right here during El Nino years, typically this region right here is very slow, very void of any tropical activity. We've compared over my show here a lot that a lot of El Nino years, this region has had a lot of wind shear because of El Nino, and we've saw no systems. And this is expected towards the peak, towards the end of season. But what we've also seen are other areas that become possible, especially with these warm waters. So this is a definite pattern that we're seeing developing later in the season. What we're seeing now is this normal wind shear that's just part of this time of the year. That's, you usually don't have wave train. That's what they call them, the African wave train. Wave train. Did somebody else write that? The wave train. All right. Oh yeah, John. Let's go talk about the icon. So the Canadian. All right. So here's interesting to me. Let's go back. This is again tropicaltidbits.com, and let's zoom in on the region. So this is the only out there scenario that if you like to look at long range tropics. The icon, like I said, it's pretty good at sniffing tropical low pressures, and you have to believe it. And look at this persistent low right over. That's crazy. We're going to talk more about this low over Tennessee, bringing in storms for basically the whole East Coast. But so this is what the icon is showing, and if you follow the moisture trail, this is Saturday, and starts to get it going a little bit on Tuesday next week. And this is pretty much in a nutshell. This is it. There's 93, possibly new wave, and then leftover Brett. So this is a believable format. Man, I completely need to go back to English 101. It's a very believable setup. So this will be curious to me, because I think that whatever's left over of our Brett will be over the hottest waters of the Caribbean. Can't ever say it's going to completely dissipate, ever. So, and then when we start looking at upper level winds, you got low pressure, set up here. It would tell you that it would eventually pull northward. So don't take that as a hurricane coming to Florida. Just that, it appears there's a frontal line coming in, which would pick it up. That really makes sense to me. But we'll wait till the 12Z models and see, you'd want to see more support before you start rambling on that scenario. Yeah, I just don't know if this system can just go poof that fast. That's my question mark. I totally believe the outside chance it might not even make hurricane. It could make hurricane. It's going to be around that range. But, I mean, even NHC here at 11 o'clock, update coming soon, they're not showing it weakening. Only, I think they got 60 mile an hour here. I wish they'd put the mile. So if you ever wonder what the timestamps are with National Hurricane Center, you have to click on forecast advisory right here. And that'll tell you their miles per hour predictions. No, it's not that. Discussion and forecasting thing. The forecast discussion. That's the 18th blunder of the day. But anyway, here's the latest thinking on winds. And as you can see, 75, 70, 65, 60. So they're not expecting a very rapid weakening as this enters deep into the Caribbean. So this is my curiosity. So it'll be 60 here. So the big question I got is what happens here when it gets to here? You know? That's a big question to me. Not hyping, not scaring, just my gut feeling is, and mark this timestamp at 10 a.m. 6:20. If I had to guess, we still might be talking about Brett Tuesday of next week. Right here, next week this time. Even though there's no model showing it, not even the euro. So let's see. They're the boss. Here are the latest ensembles, and that is one out of 51. So pretty much the Euro's expecting it to be gone by the time it reaches here, and there's only like a couple left out of the 50. All right, let's take a look at the CMC ensembles, which Tropical Tidbits has on their site. Let's take a look at current storms and look at see, there you go. Even the old CMC's thinking a little bit of that. So a little bit of that. Man, you know what? If it's west goes weak, right? I mean, it would take, but the Canadians got a couple trying to organize a little bit, pulling north once it passes this shear zone. So, God, there's always something interesting to watch in the tropics, right? All right, there's that. All right. Well, let's slow down a little bit. So I did add some satellite imagery up here. Don't forget you got Weather Nerd satellite imagery here too, and then you have really didn't have dry air entering it. It's just the wind shear. Even though it looks like it's dry air, it's kind of, this is what wind shear can do. We were talking about this yesterday, I think, but this is your water vapor loop, and as the storm starts to intensify, sometimes it'll actually pull in moisture, or lack of moisture, actually dry air. So sometimes systems eat themselves up. That makes sense. They'll start ingesting some of this dry air that's above. So it's got a little moisture bubble for sure, but there is dry air around it, so it's gonna. Some of this dry air probably will impact it a little bit. That's why there's no really sign of this thing getting too organized. But it's fascinating nonetheless. I wish we could zoom in a little closer to long-range forecasting for the islands, but we can't right now. But definitely it's on pace to reach Barbados. I know we just had somebody say hello. So all the islands should be watching this, 100%. I mean, it's still a pretty large system. You think about it. Let's zoom. We haven't used a zoom tool this year, but we got a zoom tool. We can get an idea of the size and kind of base it on the islands down here. So let's zoom in on this a little bit closer, and we got a plot here. So basically, if you measure the islands chain, that's 400 miles basically, 450 miles. And our system's about that, 483 miles. There's 406 miles. So, it could still reach everybody in the islands, no matter what path it takes. So that's interesting. It's 764 miles away right now. Well, center would be right there. So right now, our system is 816 miles away from Barbados. 816 miles an hour. It's going 17 miles an hour. Do your math. All right, cool beans. Well, let's chit chat for a while. Somebody says they're going to DR tomorrow, Kelsey. Greg Montgomery. I don't know about DR. God, yeah, I don't like making predictions, but as far as a direct hit right now, no, it doesn't look like it. So rains, yes, but as far as winds go, no. My buddy Greg Montgomery from Furman, my boy, there he is up there, by the way. You have to, hey, look, there he is. Greg had a great idea. I should have an empty glass, like a bartender glass, like that you do sometimes when you need another refill. So you can shake the glass. That's what we should. We should get some fake ice cubes though, because I'm not going to be filling the glass every day. So I'm going to Google and get some fake ice cubes, and we'll get them. We'll put them in the Mike's Weather Page cup. Yeah, we need a new pick. We're going to Nashville. Party at Nashville. We should have a generator debriefing party at Nashville. I like that. Disney World next week. Michael Sumner wants to know. Well, first off, have fun. Normal stuff, man. Your friend is one model. Joe, you're on a boat leaving Miami on Sunday. Sunday. I think it's gone. This will be gone. 93 should be missing you totally. Katie Haley, Bahama weather. Nothing that's breaking news. Fake ice. Renee says, I like it. Who's got that? What's yes, sir? What are you saying there? Cool beans. Did I say cool beans? All right, let's look at some local forecasts, by the way. Local forecasts. If you ever go to a NASCAR race, man, Furman's in the garages more now. I was on a Tom and Dan show yesterday. We were talking generators. Did anybody listen to it? I think my buddy Chris did. But we were, I was on Tom and Dan radio show in Orlando yesterday. Might have said a few inappropriate things. Maybe. It's kind of an R-rated show, so I was like, Okay, all right. So this is what's fascinating to me. All right, let's go back to the Euro right now. This is what's going on in the weather world for the United States right now, for at least Southeast. It's really incredible. So we have a low pressure area. Basically, this is your vorticity map, and there's Tennessee, and look at that. This spin. See it? For the next several days. This is all the way to Saturday. That's just a low pressure area that doesn't want to move. So that's just going to pump in storms with it throughout the life cycle. Now, yesterday Wednesday, we could have had a pattern change with the storms in Florida, but I don't see how that would be possible with this low pressure. But anyway, that's a low pressure. It's over northern Alabama into Tennessee. Kind of wild, isn't it? Rain maps. It's hard to see the direction of the rain here, but I mean, we could have a pattern change just because we have competing winds. Craziness in Florida. But that's kind of different, see the upper level even? 250 millibar. Strong jet. So that's a very odd setup, man, to have the jet stream dipping that far south. Now, going back to the tropics real quick, and then I'm going to talk. We'll do some short range forecasting. The reason our system isn't expected to do too much in the Atlantic is this is wind shear now on Saturday, and it's always been showing up some strong winds from the northwest. This is upper level winds Friday. So even though our system might be here somewhere, it's just a continuation of upper level winds, wind shear, and those aren't ready yet. We got to go to 12Z or 00Z. So it just here's Saturday. There's our just wind shear across the whole Caribbean. So a lot of wind shear is expected on Sunday. This is part of that Pacific jet stream, which is part of El Nino. But these are strong northwest winds on Sunday. So that's persistent, A lot of wind shear this time of year. But we don't have water temperatures this hot this time of year. So even tropical juice, it's getting windy out there. Wonder why. Ask weather guy. Well, I know why, because we were supposed to get storms today and it never happened. Got my mom's, well, I'll save it. I don't want to talk too much about it. Wow, look at Gainesville, man. They just unbelievable, man. Look at Gainesville, still getting rocked right now. Unbelievable. That was supposed to hit us, but it never did. All right, so weather coming up this week. So let's talk about this wild weather we got going on here. So we got heat in Texas again, unbelievable heat. I mean, like record-breaking heat. Heat indexes are like nothing I've ever seen before. Almost unheard of. Remember, the first day of summer is tomorrow. But check out this heat across. Let's just do everybody for now. Heat index. But today, oh my God, it's unbelievable. So we got pockets of 120, like Houston. Bad. Like 120 degree heat index. Parts of Louisiana are like triple digits, 111, 113 showing up. That is just unheard of. In fact, let's zoom in a little closer to that area. Because that's just incredible heat indexes. I mean, we got pockets showing up here in Houston that could be like 120 plus. So this is your heat index today. Unbelievable. And this, and it's more to say tomorrow. Here's tomorrow. Wednesday. Whew. Storms wise though, let's look at the 48-hour map. It looks like the severe storm potential reduces. There's a break. Hallelujah. This is Thursday. Look at that. No green, no dark green, no yellow. That low pressure slides out of here a little bit, at least. I get a lot of questions too. What do these colors mean? Well, I do have it on this website right here. There it is. If you ever need to know, right there. Click on it. There's what the colors mean. Light green just means normal thunderstorms. Severe means that you can start to get hail. Basically, it's the size of the supercell. Lightning, flooding will exist in thunderstorms, but once you get to dark green, possible tornado, random tornado, and hail. Then yellow, things get a little more serious. And then, of course, orange is bad, red's really bad, and purple's bad, bad, bad. But today, let's zoom in close to our region here. SPC detailed, and we can look at the south. And then I'm going to look at some future radar. Here's this. Here's the storm potential today. So I'll draw the map right this time. Arrows this way. And then the Gulf juice funnels up in there and helps it. But this is our area today of watching for storms develop. Yellow. Little bit of tornado chances in the green area today. Cover New Orleans, Lake Charles area. A little bit of hail. Wind. Here's hail outlook. Yellow. Decent chance for hail. Tomorrow, chances start to reduce a little bit. tornado outlook non-existent. Hail looks like it's non-existent. Normal thunderstorms for the south and Florida tomorrow. And let's look at that future radar and go call it a day. Future radar today across the Gulf Coast region, and we're going to see these storms. Oh, more. That's a cool map. Let's leave that up. That's a cool map. That was a combined radar, but it really shows our low. This is rain totals, but look, kind of gives you an idea wherever the heck that low is, right? Everything comes around with it. So we could see some rain across the south, but let's go to radar. All right. Look at that spin, though. Let me make it really fast. Isn't that wild looking? That's just crazy to me. All right, so later today, isolated storms across the deep south here. This is that funneling of storms across the upper Gulf, storms across Florida. We're going to have some storms for the eastern Carolinas. Some of these are going to come in off the Atlantic. You can see that today. This is all today. It's pretty wild, isn't it? Showing another line of storms. I'm not gonna fall for that trick again, but it's showing for more line of storms overnight. But saying tomorrow, look at that big old boost of moisture tomorrow, Wednesday. So be more to saying tomorrow, man. We've had a lot of morning storms here in the last 2 weeks, it seems like. This could be tomorrow morning time, Wednesday. Stuff here bubbling tomorrow. And it coincides with the storm prediction outlook tomorrow too, because look, there's Florida. So kind of fits the theme there. And I've lost my page. That's okay. Man, I got so many windows open. So random storms. New map comes out. Let's just leave this one on. So if you're worried about Brett, we got a new update at 11. There'll be a new track update at 11. Really curious as we go in time what they start doing across the 5-day outlook here. And see how quick did they show this thing's going to dissipate. But a lot of spinach, Amanda guy. Yeah, I'm a Florida native. Bobby. What's up, Miss Bobby? The Weather Buster, Wave Train. You got it right, sir. Ma'am, Weather Buster. Hey, Michael Sumner, I did get a lot of hail that day in Georgia. Is that where I was at, Norman Park? I don't even know where I was at. It scared me because it was loud. I was worried I was going to break a window. I knew I was driving into it. I wasn't worried about the hail as much as the tornado signature was right above me, and I didn't like the road that I was on, and it was raining so hard I couldn't see. I should have been a little bit more south. Reed was south of me, so lesson learned. But, this is where I was at in relation to that tornado. I should have been down here somewhere so I could see it. Kind of caught me on the wrong end of it. So I was safe. I just didn't want to be in the hail. But Mary Flood from Houston. Cool. Hello, Miss Mary. When does easterly winds start the rainy season? Are you talking about what side? We're at Asher. Angie, see you later, alligator. Brad, I don't know if it was a tornado officially or not. Thanks, Greg. I was gonna wish you a happy Father's Day, Greg, but you populate your whole town, man. What's it like to be Father's Day with that many youngins? How's the old Gavin doing, by the way? Brian, I never say no chance of Brett hitting States. The only scenario that I could see happening is if it were to be any sort of issue for anybody would be remnants hanging around the Western Caribbean first part of next week. And the Icon's kind of picking up on that a little bit. So I'm going to be really anxious at 12Z models. Miss Stephanie Stokes, Nashville NASCAR. Oh, boy. Katie's on the Lido deck. I wish I was on the Lido deck. The Lido deck. Why does every ship have a Lido deck? Don't know. All right. Yeah, notifications are long gone. I don't know. I think, but hey, the good thing about it is if you go to our page, I got a header. The header on Mike's Weather page for the whole year says Mike's Daily 9:19 Eastern, and every post when we're live it says Mike's Live at 9:19 Eastern. So there's signs everywhere, and my Alexa still goes off at 9:19. So get an Alexa, set your timer. And yeah, so we're gonna watch Brett in real time. You know, like I said, there's a lot of wind shear. There's a lot of winds from the north. There's winds from the south. There's a little bit of dry air, maybe trying to get in and around the bottom side. So we'll keep an eye on it. You know, it's running pretty quick. 17 miles an hour is pretty fast. So those are three things right there that would keep this from intensifying too quickly. If it were to slow down a little bit, the low level circulation would be able to catch up to the upper levels. In fact, let's take a look at the 500 and 850s. My dogs are just sprawled out. All right, so here's 850 right there, and 500 off a little bit, which that makes sense. We have strong lower level winds coming in from this side, and we have strong upper level winds coming from this side. So your upper level winds are getting blown away a little bit off to the east, and your lower level winds are being blown off a little bit. That's why they're not lining up. So there you go. 850, 700, 500. So that's they're calling a elongated low. How low can you go? All right. So anyway, new up. I did not see it, Greg. Is it on the website? I need to look it up. I gotta look it up. I don't know if it's on the website yet. I'm anxious to see it. So we have a cool little video coming. Tease you. All right, everybody. Well, hope you have a great day. We kind of went all over the place. Bottom line is Brett's staying weak. Might be hurricane. Island's 100% watching. Not expected to do much in the Caribbean. I say watch it all the way through the Caribbean into the Western Caribbean, first part of next week. The storm behind it appears that it's going to get pulled up to the northwest. And then, of course, we're still watching Africa. So, you know, big heat locally across the states today. And, you know, big storms potential, as always. That's just the new norm this summer. There you go. Cool beans. Well, everything's good. We'll see everybody tomorrow. I don't know if I'll do a 5 o'clock somewhere video today. I probably will. I get bored during the day. Make sure you follow me on TikTok. I just did one this morning. Let's see what it's at. I can't believe it's now my second largest platform. I have 128,000 on there now. So it's already up to 12,000 views. Yesterday was 323,000. So I try to do a daily update on there, at least in the morning. So cool. Have a great day, everybody. I'm going to post a picture tonight. We got a little party we're going to, and you'll see where we're at. We kind of look forward to that. See you guys. Bye-bye.